Hi, this is Jadi, and I found another reason to read some more source code and share it with you guys and gals. Strangely, maybe not very strangely, JP Morgan CEO questioned 21 million Bitcoin cap. He said on Monday, I'll just challenge the group to one other thing. How do you know it ends at 21 million? You all read the algorithm? You guys are believe that? I don't know. I've always been a skeptic to stuff like that. Very strange to question such an obvious thing. But maybe a funny part that Yahoo News says, but Bitcoin code clearly notes this number. Also, other sources may be using the same reference because they are mentioning the Yahoo, also linking to the same file on the Bitcoin code, which is a wrong file. They are mentioning this one that here it says max money is 21 million. But they are omitting, maybe not reading, this important part. This says, note that this constant is not the total money supply. It is only used for some checks to see, okay, if I'm transferring this my Satoshi, am I transferring more than the possible number or not? But where does this total money supply comes from? Let's read the source code. It's a free software and it's on GitHub. So you can go here, you can clone whole code from here, you can clone it or you can download a zip version. I already have one. Okay, I have it here on Bitcoin source, and we can do applications, Visual Studio Code, content, Mac, Electron here to open a Visual Studio Code in this place. No, I don't want to do anything. I think another video I speak about how to read the source code, especially with a look at the Bitcoin source code, but these kind of stuff all happen on the validation file. And it's always good to start from the headers. Reading the headers is easier because it just defines the functions. Later you can go into the validation CPP and check that specific function. This is shorter and more straightforward. I'm going to see where this 21 million cap comes from. First, we have some classes. We can go forward. We have some statics, things like max script check threads 15. I always tell this when I'm encouraging people to read the source code. The programmers have done their best to make their source code readable, especially on a large public projects like Bitcoin. So very beautiful variable names, default mempool expiry, and very nice comments. So go forward. These are the statics. I'm looking for functions. Void unload block index. Start script check worker threads. Stop script. Get block subsidy. This is what we are looking for. Because I'm looking for get block subsidy. I'm creating a block and I want to see how much subsidy I can get from doing this. I will go to the definition. It will switch to the validate CPP to the exact function we are looking for. So here is where when you are creating a block, you can see how you can check how much subsidy you will get by it. What we have, get block subsidy. It gets the height and it gets the consensus. You have a blockchain. This is the Genesis block, block 1, block 2, and about each 10 minutes, this is controlled by the difficulty level, you will have a new block. Now, for example, we are on block 10,000, say. We want to check how much subsidy we can get from here. We have some configurations. We have the subsidy having internal. As you know, every about 4 years, more correctly, I want to see where we have the numbers. This is struct params. So this is defined here. The value also should come somewhere. Having internal struct params. Where do we define this? We can do a search, global search here, and see if we have it somewhere. Find in files. I want to find the default value. Chain params. You can see every 2000. How do you read this in English? Every 210,000 blocks, halving happens. It means if you start on the first block, your subsidy will be 50 coins. On this block, subsidy will be half, 25. After another 210,000 blocks, it will be half, 12.5. So here on the validation, you can see first it divides the current height to the halving interval. Then if halving is more than or equal to 64, it will return back 0. You cannot get any money here because force block reward to 0 when right shift is undefined. I will tell you what this right shift is. Okay, in this specific case, if we had more than 64 halvings, we will return 0. Otherwise, we will say subsidy is 50 into coin. What is this coin? Your IDE will help you. This is the number of satoshis in each Bitcoin, defined somewhere. If you want to have a look, you can go to the definition. It will open automatically where this is defined. This is defined in the amount. Same file here. Okay? So number of subsidy is this one. Then it shifts it to the number of halvings. What this does. On the C and also Python and other languages, you can shift variables. If you have some number, say you have 4, you can shift it by 1. How does computer understands 4? As you know, it is 1, 0, 0 in binary. When you shift it to the 1, it shifts this 1 to the right. So we will have 1, 0. This will be gone. Everything is shifted here. So this is 2. Practically, this is a very quick way to shifting 1, is a very quick way to do the halving. It's like dividing to 2 because it will omit 1 bit here. So whatever you have, you will divide it to 2. If this is 0 for sure. Anyway, so this is a very quick way to shift. So what it does, it always says how many halving we had already. On block 0, you have 0. On block 1, you have 0. On block 2, you have 0. On block 210,000, you have your first halving. On block 420,000, you have your second halving. Anyway, so first it checks how many halvings we already had. If it's more than or equal to 64, it will return 0, so you cannot take any money for yourself. Then it says, okay, by default we had 50 bitcoins. It's multiplied in the number of the satoshis, to talk in satoshi to make it easier. Then it says shift it to the number of halvings, divide it to 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And then return how much money you can get. This is where a block sees how much money it can get for itself when being mined. Let's write a Python program to see this in more depth. It's always to I will run Tmax to make things easier, divide my screen and everything. Sorry. Very difficult operating system to manage Windows. Yeah. And I will go Ctrl B to write the same code. mkdir21 city21. I will write my code here. I want to write the same code, replicate, just like every block is being mined and some total money is being calculated, and see how much money we will have. So we will have total bitcoins py bin which Python user bin Python. So user bin Python. I will say my height is 0. I'm gonna start from the beginning. Total money collected is 0. Okay. Then I will say while true, just work to the end of the word. Hopefully Bitcoin goes to the end of the word. Okay. I will write the same logic. Here, halving equals, so I will say halving equals int of height divided to the magic number. Okay, this is the number of halving which happened in this height. Then I will say if halving greater or equal than 64, subsidy is 0. Same logic here. I will return subsidy as 0. Else subsidy is this. That would be 50 multiplied by number of satoshis in each coin. So shifted by halvings. Number of subsidy. Subsidy is 50 multiplied by satoshis. Okay, this is in the beginning. Then shift it to the number of halvings. I will do the same here. This shifted halving. Okay, so I have the number of subsidy. Then what I do, I will print height. In this height, subsidy is this much, total is this much, and I will calculate total here. Total, just add to it the number of this subsidy. Practically what I'm doing is I'll start from block 0 to the end of the word. I will mine blocks and I will calculate with the same logic how many halvings we had. Here, here we'll calculate how many halvings we had. Then we said, okay, based on the same logic, how much money should I get for this block? And I add them in the total. The only thing I need is adding to the height. Let's see what we have. Since I seen the logic, I will maximize this to make it a little bit easier to work with. Okay, so let's run it. Where I saved it, here. Okay, see, this is I break it here just to describe what is happening. This is the height of this block. This is how much money you get in Satoshis for mining this. And this is the total number of Bitcoins we have. As you can see, we are reaching to the 21 million. Sorry. It's kind of being divided to 2 every 4 hours. And this is what we will get in the end of the world. This much Satoshi we will have, which is very close to 21 million. This was what I wanted to show. This is how you should correctly calculate this. What Yahoo is referring to, I mean, this link, this is only used for a check that we have any transaction which larger than this. It's clearly noted here. Note that this constant is not the total money supply, which in Bitcoin currently happens to be less than 21 million Bitcoins for various reasons, but rather a sanity check. This sanity check is used by consensus critical validation code. You can check and see where this function is being used if you want to make yourself more familiar with the code base. What I wanted to show you was it's easy to read code, it's easy to do fun things. We can even, for example, create a chart here. We can say import matplotlib plot as plt, and then say, okay, my figure and axis plt subplots. I want to plot the earnings. I can create a time series here. It's empty. Each time I calculate the total, I would say ts append total. Here I'm creating a very large array of all the totals. In the end, I can say x plot ts and plot show, just to create a plot of what we've done. Here you will have a more nicer graphical plot. The problem is it never ends. What I can do, I can say if sub is 0, break. Because this loop should be finished somewhere for this to work. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that you can do more fun stuff, learn things, read the codes. It's very easy. It's created for you to understand and everything. This is the block number. Look at this, and also the total number of Bitcoins we have. Let's draw this in log to get a better understanding. Or only one block. Anyway, I won't fiddle with it more. So what you can do to learn more is download the source code of the Bitcoin. Maybe if you want to start, you can, this is the log chart. Much nicer and more understandable. It's going straight, and here it approaches to the 21 million. Oh, that's because log. Anyway, if I want to suggest you can check where this check happens. To do so, you can right click, go for peek to the references, and you can peek all the references where this being called, being checked, why. This way you will start to untangle the code and understand more and more. This is my method. It's better to start where you understand and find your way to other parts. It's for me easier than checking the main file, finding the main call and going from the entrance door. It's easier to go from the window, find out how this fancy room works, and then go for other rooms. Anyway, see, it's easy. This was Jody, and I will be very glad to read more source codes with you. If you wanted to subscribe, I will be even more glad. Sorry for the bad English. This was Jody.